Hey, everybody. Again, my name is Pete Blank, and welcome to today's Lunchtime Learning Blast. Maybe you're watching this recording on one of our websites, or maybe you're live with us right now on Facebook as we present this topic live. Either way, we're glad to have you. Want to spend 15, 20 minutes with you talking about this particular topic called courageous leadership. And here's the point. We all need to have courage in our lives. We all need to use this as one of the leadership traits that we really need to have, because everything that we'll talk about rises and falls a little bit around the whole topic of courage. So do me a favor, if you're watching live on Facebook right now, put something in the comments for me. Tell me where you're watching from, or I've also got a question from you, which is, where do you get your courage? Where do you get your courage? And we'll go over some of these as we go through today. Today's topic. So let me go ahead and give a shout out to my buddy Bill Treasurer. He works for a company called Giant Leap Consulting, and he's the one who actually came up with this concept. He's written a bunch of books on courage. He's the courage expert. So a lot of the things I'm talking about today, I learned from him. I'll put some of my stories and some of my takes on it. But if you want to learn more about courage and courageous leadership, please go to his website. It's Giant Leap Consulting. I've actually got a video, hopefully at the end, with me interviewing him. We can talk about, but he's the guy that knows. I'm just kind of sharing some of the information. He's the one that kind of knows everything. I know a little bit, but not as much as him when it comes to courage. All right. So again, if you're watching on Facebook right now, or if you're listening to the webinar on a recorded session, here's the question I want you to think about. What do you draw upon when you need to be courageous? What do you draw upon when you need to be courageous? As you can see here, those of you who are old enough to remember the whole Popeye thing, Popeye always had spinach. And when Popeye took his spinach, then all of a sudden, he became strong. What about you? What do you draw upon when you need to be courageous? So if you think about that for a second, or if you're watching live on Facebook, again, feel free to go ahead and leave me a comment so I can see where you're getting your courage from. All right, here's 5 basic premises. So if you're a leader right now, if you are a leader in healthcare, if you are a leader in marketing, sales, human resources, local government, again, is mostly our audience, look at these 5 basic premises that Bill talks about. Number 1, courage is a teachable and learnable skill. Oh, Pete, I can never be courageous. Sure you can. There's all kinds of reasons. And you can think back in your life when you had to show courage in something you were trying to do, because we all have the capacity to be courageous. All of us. I mean, think about things that you would do for your family, for your wife, for your kids. That takes a lot of courage. Maybe you're afraid of roller coasters, but if your 10-year-old daughter says, Daddy, I want you to ride the roller coaster with me, you're going to do it. You have the capacity to be courageous. People perform better from a work perspective and with greater passion when they have courage. When I'm able to be my full self at work, when I'm able to kind of do the right thing, when I'm able to push back a little bit, when I'm able to challenge the status quo, that makes me work better, giving me that courage. A host of techniques and approaches can be used to build people's courage, of course. And number 5, the entire organization benefits when everyone is working more courageously. Because think about that. We're not working in silos. We're not sharing what we should be sharing. We're all speaking our truths. We're all speaking our minds. And I think that's kind of important, because all of us can build on this concept of courage. So again, as you're watching today, or as you're involved, here's what I want you to be thinking about. What do you draw upon to be courageous? Some people use prayer. Some people talk to somebody and say, what do you think I should do? Some people read self-help books, self-help books. Some people just, stand back and process internally. Whatever you choose, there's all kinds of things you can draw upon when it's time for you to be courageous. And courageous is the first virtue. It makes everything else possible. So think about this from a work perspective. I have to give feedback to an employee, and that makes me nervous. It's going to take courage. I've got an employee who has body odor, and I have to coach them on that. It's going to take courage. I want to go and talk to my boss, then let him or her know that I'm thinking about transferring out because maybe I'm going to ask for a raise. Maybe I'm going to do this. All these things take courage. So when you think about it, this whole idea that we've got to master this idea of courage first, and it's going to make every other thing we do that much easier. So how do we become better at courage? Well, let me turn off my camera here. Bill Treasurer talks about this thing called the comfort discomfort continuum. We all live in our comfort zone. We all live in our comfort zone, and we'll go as far as we can to the edge before we're like, I don't want to do that. That's uncomfortable. Well, that's what Bill calls the courage zone. And you can see on the far right there, the discomfort zone. You want to get as close as you can in that courage zone where you can have the courage where it doesn't make you feel discomfort. Again, it's going to extend different times for different people, but you can see it's all about opportunity seeking at the top. If we're afraid of everything, if we're afraid of giving feedback, if we're afraid of coaching our employees, if we're afraid of we're never, it's going to be uncomfortable, but this is a courage zone. This is the job of us as leaders, not just managers, but all of us as leaders. This is super important that we do that. So that's something, again, I want you to be thinking about is how can you move forward into this like courage zone and move as far towards discomfort as you can. The thing I love about Bill's concepts here is he simplifies it for us. I'm not good at remembering 8 things, 12 things, 20 things, but he's got these 3 buckets of courage that all of us, and most of us probably do these every day, but haven't bucketed them in this certain way. But I want you to think about this. There's try, trust, and tell courage. So I love it. Break it down, dumb it down for me, make me understand this a whole lot better. So try courage. All right. Try is the bucket here. What is try courage? Well, think about that. It's just you trying something new. It's you trying something different. As he says, it's you stepping up. It's you stepping up to the plate. It's people who go first. Think about Lewis and Clark and people coming over to this country and people who were explorers and all of that. You talk about try courage. Yeah, I think I'll get on a boat and go across this big ocean. I'm not sure where it's going to land. We might die, but someone's got to try. Someone's got to go first. And it absolutely could be you. And what it's going to take for you here is it's going to take overcoming inertia. It's going to take, because everyone's going to be pushing back against you. Saying, I don't think you need to do this. This is hard. And if you look at the bottom, the risk, when you do try, and Bill will talk about this, your actions may harm others because you're trying something. So is it going to harm somebody along the way? Someone thinks that you're trying to move ahead. Someone may get, their feelings hurt. Someone may say, well, I can't believe, and so it may hurt along the way. So there's a slight danger when you do try courage and try something in your workplace for the first time. But it's important that we do that. The next one is trust courage. If you've done any work with Stephen M.R. Covey, who's Stephen Covey's son, he's got a great training class, great books on trust. We use this in some of our training programs, all about trust. And it ties in here too, because again, trust courage means I'm going to follow the lead of others. I'm going to let go. I'm actually going to let someone else take the reins. And you know what's going to happen? That takes a lot of courage because they may drop the ball. This is the biggest project you've ever done. This has a lot riding on it, but you're trusting that. I'll give you a perfect example. And this is something simplistic and but this is a work example. We have, and again, because a lot of us are working remotely, we've got a main training phone line for our department. Well, we have that set up and it wasn't working. We got it all fixed, but now it rings to our fantastic coordinator, Taria. What they did was they set a backup to ring to me as well. So in case she's out sick or something like that, you call the main number, 2 people will get it. Well, all of our voicemails and phone calls go to our email. So I'll get an email that says, to the training phone and it'll have a voicemail. I'll listen to it. Well, I should trust that Taria's taken care of it already. I only have to look at it if I know she's out of the office. But a couple of times I've been forwarding these emails, which are voicemails to her, and saying, hey, did you get this one? Hey, did you follow up on this? And she responds, yes. I told you, yes. We agreed on the process. Yes. You told me I would be doing this. Yeah. And so now it's hard, even something as simple as that, because I want to make sure that it's done because we don't want to, hurt customer service and all that. but I've got to trust. We have a process. We put it in place. I said I would trust her. And so I've had to step back and say, this is what it is. I'm not going to do follow-ups anymore. And that's just a small example. Imagine working on a multi-million-dollar project. That's a whole lot different. So again, that's your trust courage there. The last one I want to talk about, and again, in the comments, if you all are watching, I know we got some people watching live right now, put in the comments again, which one you think you need to work on the most. Try courage, trust courage, or this one, tell courage. Tell courage is the concept of speaking out, or maybe even speaking up. You know, tell courage is asserting your voice. How many times have you all been in a staff meeting, you know, where the leader or the manager or the director says, all right, I want to throw that out there. Any thoughts? Just looking around, hoping you're going to say, are you going to say something? Well, I don't want to be the one to say it. Are you going to say it? Tell me, are you going to say it? You know, and then no one says it because there's fear of retaliation and there's fear of being ostracized. And as you see at the bottom, there's fear of being cast out of the group. And, you know, so depending on your organizational's culture, this is a huge courage bucket. Being the truth teller, not being the yes man or the yes woman or the person who always agrees. You know, we don't need groupthink in our organization. We need people to sort of speak up. So tell courage is, again, can you share? And again, not in a disruptive sort of way and not in a way that's going to offend people, but especially when you're talking about processes and process improvement and ways to be more efficient at work, someone's got to speak up and say, I'm not sure we should do it this way. Well, here's my thoughts on it. And here's my thoughts on that. So again, try, trust, and tell courage. Those are the three areas I think that Bill is talking about, and they make a lot of sense to me. Now, if you do go to his website at Giant Leap Consulting and look up Courageous Leadership, you can download this little helpful, he calls it a wallet card. And what it does is it's a PDF, it's downloadable, and it's got the try, trust, and tell, and all the different items that are associated with that on it. But in addition, the backside of the card has some tips and some questions and some things that you might want to use. So I thought that was pretty cool because that's a free resource to help you with this idea of try, trust, and tell courage. Again, his website is Giant Leap Consulting. You can go there, search Courageous Leadership, and there'll be a place where you can sign up for his emails and you get a free download and all that kind of stuff. All right, before we talk about what you're going to do, let's see if I can get this video working. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share this short 3-minute interview that I did with Bill Treasurer when I was at a conference 2 years ago. And he's going to take 3 minutes and just explain everything I just talked about, but do it from his point of view and his experience. Man, if only I could meet the author of Courageous Leadership, the one who we talk about try, trust, and tell courage. What are the chances? Look who's here. It is Bill Treasurer, who wrote the book and all the profiles that we do for try, trust, and tell courage. So he's a little shit. Get down here, Bill. So real quick, Bill, just tell me a little bit. We use your products in our impact program, and I've got government employees who sometimes struggle with try, trust, and tell courage. So tell us a little bit about each one and why it's important.
Terrific. Well, hey, impact folks, good to see you. And I wish you the most. In fact, I encourage you to put some courage inside of yourself and let it out.
Nice.
So try, trust, tell are just 3 ways of experiencing courage. Try courage is the courage of first attempts. The first time you do something, when you haven't done it before, maybe other people have done it, but for you it's a pioneering event because it's your first time. So you don't know what the unknown is that you're facing. So it's a courage of action and initiative, and it comes with a risk that if you take this action, you could wipe out. So some people hesitate.
Right.
That's why it takes courage. The second bucket of courage is what we call trust courage, and it's not the courage of action. Sometimes it's the courage of inaction. Releasing my need to control or my need to be right in trusting you, following your lead. And it comes with a risk because if I entrust you and you screw up, it could become a reflection on me. And sometimes when we entrust others, they might betray us. So that's the risk that it comes with. But it's necessary for things like managing and not micromanaging, right? To be able to delegate and not have to take it back. So in trusting others takes courage, trust courage. The third bucket of courage is what we call tell courage.
Yeah, we talk a lot about tell courage. Sharing information.
It's the courage of voice and assertiveness, is not biting your tongue to go along and get along, but to speak your truth. hopefully with some degree of diplomacy,
Yes.
but also with appropriate levels of assertiveness so that you don't dilute your message by being overly diplomatic. So speaking your truth, telling the truth, being honest, and it comes with a risk too. Because if you tell the truth, some people might be offended by your truth.
Yes.
So you got to be able to do it in the right way. Try, trust, and tell.
Let me throw one more question at you. I'm going to throw a curveball at you here. In local government or state government, federal government, where do you see courage might be needed the most when it comes to those three? Where do you think that local government employees or any employees should be really focused on? Where do you think we have that need?
I think that what I find in local government is that you got a lot of good soldiers.
Yes, we do.
A lot of people doing what they're told to do, following orders. And that's necessary for efficiency. But I would also ask, what's the necessary thing to innovate your organization to get it to a new place and a higher plane? Where are you playing it too safe? Where do you need to get into your discomfort zone so that you grow, progress, and evolve? And sometimes that means not being a good soldier, but starting to be a general and starting to be more decisive, more bold in your actions and words.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. I would shake your hand, but I'm holding the camera, so I can't do that. So we'll do those things. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you when I get back, and we're looking forward to the next Impact class. See. All right, we are back live again. Impact is our middle management training program. It's the one that we do for our local government. And I love what Bill said there. He said, you know, he knows that in local government, we got rules and regulations and policies and procedures. But again, can you take that courage to try, trust, and tell, especially around processes and procedures, to try to make it more efficient and easier and things like that? Kind of be a little more of a general. A little more of a, hey, take this out for a spin. Let's see what we can do with it. So which one are you going to focus on this week? You're going to focus on more tried courage. You're going to focus on more trust courage. You're going to focus on more tell courage. And any of those are going to be great and help you be a fantastic leader. So thank you all for watching today or for watching on the recording. Real quick, let me turn my camera off here and remind you, everything you see that's covered in those blue boxes, that's when we're live on Facebook. So the next one we're going to have is on March 4th about why hard work beats talent. Greg's going to talk about that. Michael's going to do a quick lunchtime learning blast on levels of leadership success, how to be a better thinker. Kim's going to talk later on this month about spring break. What does spring break look like this year as a leader? How do you manage that? And what if people can go and can't go, and families and schools and all the stress that comes with that? And what are some fun things you can do in the Birmingham area around spring break that are free or COVID safe? She's got a whole lot of, I don't know how she's going to cram it in 20 minutes. She's got a whole lot of great stuff around that. And then My Boss Stinks Now What as well. Also trainer talks. These are where three of us get together live, and we're doing one on giving and receiving feedback. And then on the 25th, how to build your professional network. So again, the personnel board is here for all Merit System employees to help you get a little bit better every single day. But we also open it up to everybody. That's why we don't block our page. If you find this useful, please like this. Please share it with your friends. Tell them to follow Personnel Board of Jefferson County on Facebook so they can get their lunchtime learning blasts as well. That's all. Go out there today and be a courageous leader. That's what we all need to be doing. Thanks to all the people who are watching live. I appreciate you, 789. I got all the names here. We love you. Thanks for watching. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.